So if we have a look at there, I've taken out a block from this internal wall, and you can see that ceiling continues straight on through, and it's also painted, which means the ceiling was there first, and this brick wall was built after the ceiling. So that basically confirms that this wall isn't holding anything up, and we're good to bring it down. So there you go, theory correct. Now this one, we've taken down all the ceiling now, apart from a few joists. I've left a pair up at that end and a pair up this end because there's a joint in a pipe work. That's basically just so they can hold up these pipes circumnavigating this room at present, and they drop down inside this cupboard here, which is where our boiler is. And you see there's a rad coming straight out of that. So basically I've uncovered areas just so I can investigate what's going on. So we've got another flow and return going in there, and some tees off the flow and return that side going down the same hole. Who knows where they are. So I've done a bit of investigating under the lath and plaster ceiling. So you can see there that 4-inch timber, that's the roof truss beam that spans wall to wall. And you can see the newer floor joists that the previous people have built in, and you can see underneath the original floor joists just sort of float underneath them, and they've just taken the floor joist straight across the top of the lot. So what I've uncovered basically is that beam there. So let me just get it to focus, there we go. So that beam in between the newer floor joists looks like a longitudinal binder, which is helping to support up the original ceiling joists, just to basically stop them from sagging, to strengthen them up, stop them from bouncing, and stop any movement, twists and that over time, which is a slight cause for concern. I need to run that by a structural engineer, so when we put the steels in, can those be removed or do they have to stay in place? Because obviously this ceiling is all coming down, so we're going to get rid of all of that. In effect, we're going to get rid of the ceiling joists. So in effect, does that then render these binders irrelevant, or is there any longitudinal support that they're offering to the roof trusses? Question. Maybe you could answer it in the comments. But I should be running that by a structural engineer, because obviously we're going to have a steel that comes across here, and then they got arms that go up and clamp onto the roof trusses above, and that's what we'll use to then support the roof, so that we can then cut through that truss beam and form a walkway through what will otherwise be our new floor level, where the steel lands basically just above these newer ceiling joists. Anyway, so that's all out of the way. These pipes, I need them moved basically, so they do otherwise sit below where the new ceiling, where I'm going to be using posi beams to form the new floor and ceiling. They do sit below that, so they are in effect out the way, but they are in what's going to be the new room. So we're trying to get this done and dusted so that we can then transfer kitchen stuff into here, use this as a bit of a kitchen living room area, and then work our way along that further along through the house. But otherwise they are going to be ultimately in the way, so I think I need to get a plumber in, and I'm going to get him to just reposition them along the external wall, all along the top there, and just bring them back down into the boiler in the cupboard there. So that in effect will keep all the radiators that are currently hooked up off that loop working. So obviously we've got a couple of radiators in the bedroom above, so if we keep those working in the meantime, that would be great, rather than having a freezing cold bedroom. Seems though we've just hit winter. Right, now for the elephant in the room. No, it's not all of that. The elephant is right here. Check that out. We have another window, and this time it's floating. Now there is a concrete lintel going across there, but as you can see, we've got our 1.5 brick wall, and it's only sitting on the outer skin, which you know, I don't know who the heck decided that was going to be a good idea, but they clearly didn't have structural integrity at the forefront of their decision. So we have nothing carrying well, to effect, in principle, we have nothing carrying the weight of the other half of the brick wall. Now, in my time in the construction industry, I do understand brickwork. You just trace the mortar joints down, brick course by course, and you've got a 45 spread load going down. So that weight above the arch there is being carried by the brickwork out here and out there, and in actual fact the brick wall stops just above the ceiling joists anyway. Well, it's around the corner. I told you about that in a previous video. But here we got the original window as well. It's obviously been nailed into the brickwork somewhere, otherwise that would have just dropped out when I uncovered all of this. So it looks like they just boarded out over that, because there's a painted board on the outside, sealed, and yeah, we still have the original window in place. Well, I say original, maybe since this was converted from steels, the first thing that was done was one of those windows put in there. I think all of this wasn't here originally. You can tell on the outside where they pointed up the brickwork on the outer skin, but obviously not bothered with the inner skins, and they just covered it up with plasterboard. So definitely going to be wanting to get a lintel across there. Now I think when this becomes a kitchen, we are thinking of opening this up, this wall, to have maybe a larger double or even a triple, so we can have a completely open sort of end wall there from where we have the kitchen worktop areas this side. We can then be like cooking, eating, and looking out the window at the view into our garden, which would be nice ultimately. But yeah, uncovering all this, more work, yay. And that's about it really at this stage. So as I mentioned, these internal walls, they're not built into the external walls. You can see the mortar joint literally just butted up, and in fact you can see it's sort of cracking there, and not even holding its weight on that wall. So as far as I'm concerned, all of that wall can just be knocked straight down. because it's obviously not carrying any load off the roof truss, because that's 8 inches away from it, as I calculated from the stairwell measuring off it. Where's my lines? There's me 2 pen lines, and there's the crack that I told you about, and hey, there's the roof truss. So I wasn't far off with me markings. I'll take the rest of this ceiling down and expose the rest of the roof truss, and just confirm. I'll get some plumb lines down and just confirm its position with me markings on the wall there. And yeah, I didn't want to take too much of the original ceiling down because it's lath and plaster, and if you've worked with lath and plaster you know how dusty and black and horrible it is. So you see I just started cutting a line through, and I'm just going to take those 2 areas either side of the roof truss there and just open it up so that we can have a proper investigation when the structural engineer comes for a chat about all of that. So there you go. You can see now we've got quite an empty room going on here, and it just gets more and more interesting. One other thing I wanted to point out is I got rid of this step that was built here. So you can see here the original slate used as a damp proof course. You might be familiar with slate roofs, obviously repels water, so they used to use the slate as a damp proof course. So very obvious proof here that our floor is below the damp proof course. Fortunately, I plan to install some underfloor heating, so with I don't really know, is it good to use PIR insulation that's old and deteriorated like this, or should I buy all brand new? Obviously I've got a bit of 4-inch in there, and if I can use some of that up, that saves me a bit of money when I come to buying it to lay down on this floor when we put the underfloor heating and screed down. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. And original damp proof course, that's how they did in the olden days. See you next time.
And don't forget, I was born to be liked. So, subscribe, you son of a bitch.